Today's guest is a friend of mine who is a biomechanic specialist and is the owner of Escape Fitness training facility located in Mount Laurel Township, New Jersey. I wanted to have Christian on because his passion, his focus, and the brand that he's building is actually something special to see. I follow him on social media. And again, just love to see his passion for what he's doing. And I thought he'd be a great guest, and I know he will be. And I'm excited to have him on. Christian Lee, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, bud. Good to see you again.
Yeah, man. Good to see you too. I know we've been trying to get this set up for some time.
Sure.
Your busy schedule. We were finally able to do it here on New Year's Eve.
There we go. Start the New Year's early.
Yeah, man. Happy New Year to you. 2021 is certainly going to be better than what we've been through. And I want to talk a little bit about that too, which we're going to get into. And then just, you being a gym owner. In fact, we can jump right into that. You being a gym owner, what has COVID, the challenges of COVID, how have you pivoted and made changes to survive this pandemic? Because a lot of gym owners, as we know, had to close shop.
Yeah, I think the biggest part was that, no one could prepare for this. Our hands were pretty tied by the government or the state that you live in. So you really couldn't have a sense of direction, which way to go. So everybody pretty much, we didn't have a handbook to follow. We just did whatever we could to survive. Everybody I know got into some type of survival mode. And I know I talked to my staff about, it's a sink or swim time. We can't wait for things, wait for our government to bail us out. We got to figure out how to survive and keep the doors open. So the more we thought about it or complained about it, I knew we were going to die, so we had to make an adjustment from day one. When the announcement came, we went virtual right away. It didn't matter if you knew how or not, we just went for it. And that's how we pretty much did a lot of our business in the past anyway. So whether it's a new product, new, ideas, it's just, we got to try and fail. So we weren't prepared, but this isn't something that we weren't going to just take it and just stay down. So, we had to make a quick adjustment.
Yeah. How long was the shutdown?
Well, from March, a state, we're in New Jersey. So we were shut down from March to July, first week of July. So in those times, obviously I couldn't keep all my staff. Two of my staff kind of stayed on. And they also helped me out a lot. I was in here every single day. I didn't miss a day. So we were doing construction in here, painting, lighting. We used the time to, just because emotionally and mentally, you get beat up pretty bad after a while. First couple of weeks, like a vacation, right? You feel good and see your family more, but then 3 or 4 weeks, a month go by, you're like, whoa, we got to figure this out. So we decided to, like my manager and our head trainer, we decided to, let's just come to work every day, even though it may be like a few hours. We'll do the virtual training. Let's clean up, let's paint, let's do lighting. And literally, in those 4 months, we changed our facility 100%. It looks nothing like how it was before.
I've seen it, man. You've done a great job. I've seen you post the videos, and you and even your dad and your family were out there helping you get it all, fixed up, and it looks great.
This was our quarantine. We stayed in here. We're locked up in our facility, and that's how we survived. Literally. After that, we're gonna stay in your room. So.
Yeah, man, I hear you there. It was challenging for us all, especially the small business owners, and the restaurant market. As you know, it's been devastating for many across the country.
Sure.
Let's talk a little bit about your facility, and then I'm gonna dive back to how we met and just some of your credentials and your experience. Athletic Republic Escape. Is that a franchise? I'm just reading some things on the website, just trying to understand and correlate Escape with Athletic Republic.
So we established officially Escape Training was 2007. mean, previously before that, we were trainers and kind of got together, established a company in 2007, I myself. Since then, we acquired a franchise company called Athletic Republic about 3 years ago.
Okay.
We didn't have any intention of buying a franchise, but we were really sold on the equipment and protocols they developed, like the science behind it. It wasn't just, we couldn't buy the equipment alone, so we had to buy the whole franchise deal.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that about 3 years ago. So that's hence the name Athletic, Republic Escape came about 3 years ago. But we started in 2007. It's a small company, and we just kept building on, and we had different services. Obviously, our focus has been evolving,
Mm-hmm.
for the we have really wide range of clientele. That's why this COVID was so hard for our company, because we have such a wide clientele. We had clients in their 70s and 80s coming up rehab and surgeries, and just trying to be independent. So that was a big part of our business. And obviously, middle school, high school, college athletes, and trying to perform better. So that was a bulk of our business as well too. And most people don't realize we actually have a lot of clients that are non-athletes as well too. Okay. Actually, number-wise, it's like 40% to 60%. I know we're known for training athletes, mm-hmm. but we have clients that are just needing this for mental, their mental capacity and just emotional stress that people deal with, how they can de-stress through physical training. And that's actually a big portion of our business right now.
Gotcha. And you started the business back in 2011, correct?
2007 officially.
Oh, was it 7? Okay.
Yeah, officially 2007. But I was in a financial world actually up until then. But I trained on the side like since college. So my training started really like 1999, 2000. But it was more of like a side job, mm-hmm. Just like a lot of trainers do in the beginning. And I was in a financial world for about 4 or 5 years after that. And, one day I said, you know what, this feels like work. So, I really like the training aspect, and, it's such a great positive feedback you get immediately. Yeah. It's just right. Yeah. And let me see if I can actually earn some income doing mm-hmm. this. So I made a big career move, and I was, relatively successful as a young agent at the time in the financial world. And I gave that all up and saved some money from that part of the world. And that's how I started this business from there. So I went complete opposite. I worked a ton of more hours, but mm-hmm. I really feel like I'm working, like people talk about, hey, I work 24/7, 7 days a week. I tell them, but I don't ever feel like I'm actually working.
Yeah. Because you love it and you're passionate about it. And one quality I love about you, which I'm going to dive into a little bit about your experience is, and your credentials and such, but you just have that teacher mentality. You love to teach and help kids. I mean, I see it from your videos, but ever since I've known you, that's just you. And I can see the passion, and would you agree that helps you really love what you're doing?
I think that's it. 100%. If I didn't do that, I feel like I'm actually working. Mm-hmm. So you know what I mean? Like if I'm not teaching somebody a certain thing, I feel like I'm just kind of killing time and actually working. But if I'm sharing information, I can't even say really teaching. It's more of like sharing information and hopefully that I can give them different possibilities and mindset. Just sharing some ideas that I learn and whatnot. It becomes more of a relationship building than actual teaching. I guess you can look at it as both. Yeah. So I love that portion of it. Without that, I don't think I'll be doing what I'm doing now. And I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. So I'm trying to just
that'll always be the case for us all, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm throwing an idea about like, being a professional caddy someday, like all that kind of stuff. But regardless of what I do, like as long as I can share information and share ideas, teach. And I always ask my students same thing. If you can teach somebody, you really understand the concept and understand what it is. So yeah, that's it. Teaching and sharing.
Yeah, man, I love the way you put it too, with building that relationship, and that's with anything, right? In life and business is build that relationship first, and everything else will follow. And I want to dive into how we met. We met on a baseball field
Wow. Yes,
about what,
sir.
10 years ago or so.
I think it might be more, man, now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, I didn't think it was that long, but maybe it was. We played for a team out of Marlton, a wood bat league, which some people call semi-pro, which is mainly,
Yep.
mainly college athletes, former college baseball players, and even some professional players. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. When
It
we
was a
getting
lot of
back?
fun. I remember when I was there on the team, I kept hearing about a Hoan.
Yes.
Is that your nickname? Is that your real
No,
name?
that's actually my officially it's my middle name.
Okay,
But it is my Korean, like given Korean name,
gotcha.
Hawan. Believe it or not, it means tiger.
Okay.
So I should have played golf instead of baseball.
I can't. Oh, you're a hell of a golfer, that's for sure. But no, just hearing that, I kept hearing, yeah, Hoan's going to be coming on the team, and I'm like, who's this guy? When's he coming? And I don't know if that you came that one year. I think you were busy with your business, or you were supposed
Sure.
to join the team, and I think you joined the next year, and we played together for a few seasons, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can. I actually hope that someday I can play again. Someday.
I'm officially done. My arm is shot. My arm is shot. But Christian, his baseball career, wanted to
Yeah.
share a little bit about that. He played at St. John's University. You played there just one season, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you went to Rowan University. Why was your career at St. John's cut short to go to Rowan U?
Wow, this is actually a fascinating opportunity because I don't think I've ever shared with a lot of people. I think maybe like one or two.
Okay.
My freshman year, I was a really big recruit. I went to St. John's and I played a lot, quite a bit. I made a Big East freshman team that year, but we had a lot of turmoil in our family. My father lost his business, and it was just not a great time for our family. I remember coming home after the first summer freshman year. I was working with my parents, and my parents owned they operate a clothing line. They manufacture clothing line out in Kensington, PA, Philadelphia. Not the greatest neighborhood, but
I know well.
yeah. So it was tough. Yeah. We became very tough people, working out of there, and that was like my summertime when kids came home. Some enjoys our summer down the shore. I was in there, ironing clothes and trying to get out, and the business really went south. And I actually couldn't leave my family. We actually lost a lot. We had to kind of move in with our family and other side of family and things like that. So it wasn't right. So I just couldn't leave my parents on the street. So I actually didn't play at Rowan right away because I had to work. So I gave up at St. John's. It wasn't easy because they thought it was more like athletic reason. And most people don't know me. I'm kind of introvert, and I didn't want to share that kind of personal information with my coaching staff at the time. So I ended up leaving the team, told them that I'm not coming back. I came home, work all through the summer, and my mother wanted me to still go to school. So I signed up at Rowan, and I did go out for fall ball right away since I was a baseball player. But I just couldn't work 40 hours a week, play baseball, and try to go to full-time school. And it was kind of tough for me. So it lasted about maybe a fall season. And then I told the coach at the time, I just can't do it. I apologize for even coming out and giving you false hope.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't very happy at the time. So, and then I actually gave up baseball for like a whole maybe a year and a half. I remember I was working at like TGI Fridays, in a restaurant and being a busboy, and ended up being like a server and everything else I did. I think I worked like 80 plus hours a week back then. And then I, when things settled down after a year, then, from not playing, I still try to go back out. And then, I played a Rowan after that, next couple of years.
Gotcha. And I appreciate you sharing that story. Yeah, that had to be tough, being recruited and going to St. John's and then just figuring out that it just wasn't the right time, for you.
It's kind of like the current business situation. I didn't really have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I maybe looking back, but I doubt it. So it's just a sink or swim kind of thing. So I don't. Sure, I mean, if I have one thing that could change my life, maybe if I can go back to that moment and do something else. But it made me who I am today. So that's that.
No, understood, man. Understood. And you're also the owner of the New Jersey Pride South Jersey Young Guns AAU baseball program, and then that goes along the lines of you being that teacher, I think, at heart. How has that been, that experience?
It's just great. Like I said, just being on the field and trying to. It wasn't easy at first because I was taught certain way. I expected certain things, and the impact that made me greatly more than anybody was I had a great coach, Coach Mack at St. John's, and now he's the head assistant coach at University of Virginia. I got to see him a few years ago again, and we still keep in touch like every year now. And he told me like, hey, when you were at St. John's, I was this guy. And he's a big time coach. And he was telling me that he had to make an adjustment throughout because kids are changing, and life is changing. He couldn't be the tough military guy, dropping F-bombs in, kids' face and screaming at him like he did to me.
Mm-hmm.
He had to learn to be a better communicator, he said. And I said, wow, like this guy who was my college coach telling me that he's making adjustments as he is and who he is. So that kind of like set a tone for me.
Love it. Yeah.
In the coaching field. And I say, you know what? If he can change, then I can change. So, I became a better communicator. I made some shares and mistakes when I just started coaching because I was trying to be just a tough, whatever the guy that I was always taught. But I become a better communicator, and I'm still learning every day. I'm pretty hard on my staff, my coaching staff. I'm always hard on them, and because I expect so much more. But I'm becoming a better communicator as I'm making adjustments. So I'm learning every day. I'm definitely not perfect. If I was, then I'll be coaching Major League. But and I'm sure even those guys are always making adjustments.
Nobody is perfect, man, and we're always learning. I think that's something that I love about what I do because I'm learning every day. And back to what you were saying with just that process. I mean, you can't treat every kid the same, right? I mean, everybody's different. It's that mindset that I think a lot of coaches have where you got to be tough and you got to drill the same thing over and over. But I think you develop that relationship, like you said earlier, and how or what works best for, each individual.
Yes. I think great coaches are great listeners. Great coaches are also understand how to read people better than everybody else. Even, I have 3 kids and my kids are all different. And the way I feel my older kid is different than my middle son. You know what I'm saying? So in that regards, I don't treat everybody the same. When I say treat, I don't approach everybody the same. It's not necessarily treating them different. It's more about my approach to them. I could be explaining the same thing, same drill, but the way I explain or approach that drill to a certain kid can be different. So I don't want to use the word that I treat somebody different or people different. Instead of my approach to them is quite different. Every individual. Some kids I'm really hard on them. Some kids I approach it differently. I explain more. Maybe let them know that I do care about them a lot. Some people want to be told that you care about them, and that's important. And I know that's important for some of the kids, especially these days. So.
And some kids react better to being a little harder on them, right?
Because you realize their potential. Some kids can take that better, and then it kind of rolls up their shoulder. Like, hey, you know what? But even then, I know I have a lot of kids here that I'm pretty tough on them. But even then, I do let them know that, hey, listen, if I didn't care about you, I'm not on you. Just worry about it that, next time that I'm not on you, that's when you're in really trouble. So, I do let them know that the reason for my action, so.
Yep. Got it. And you also were the assistant coach for Shawnee High School for many years, baseball team. correct? And then you were an assistant coach for Rowan University for one season.
Yeah, I mean, I love to coach, and then recently I was at Rutgers Camden as well too. But it's not just college coaching or high school coaching or my, AU baseball. The hardest part about those jobs is that you're not going to make money. So
Yeah,
you got kind of, especially if you're a business owner, you have to learn to balance. And I get in trouble from my wife a lot, obviously, because I'm never home.
yeah,
So that's becoming that is the only trouble that I have. If I had all the resources, all the money, I'll be coaching 100%. But it's just that it's hard. Even doing the summer ball, AAU ball, I end up losing a lot of money. And most people don't realize they see the travel ball. It's like costs a lot of money. They must be making a lot of money. I lose money every single year. So that's the hard part. That's the hard part. And trying to juggle the financial side of it is like, how do I, do that and then still be able to do what I love to do? So, yeah, coaching college is great. I was at Rowan because that's where I finished my career, and I wanted to help out, those guys, and I'm good friends with them. Recently, I was at Rutgers Camden with, I call my little brother Ryan. We both
know him well. When you say recently, are you no longer there?
Yeah, I just recently resigned.
Oh,
that's
okay.
another core subject, and it wasn't easy.
I was going to talk to you about that. I was unaware. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't easy at all. But this COVID actually, I just couldn't make that decision to go back and do it, even though it wasn't going to require that much of time like we normally would, because our season got shortened. Our practice actually not even starting in February, but I had to get back to focusing on business and setting it up. If I didn't do it, I will lose everything. And if I do that, then I can't really pay bills for my own family. And even though I'd rather do, coaching at Rutgers, guys like Ryan and Pat and these guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. I mean, I thought about it quite a bit. It definitely was a hard decision.
Yeah, I can imagine. I remember you guys talking to me about it when it was first happening, and just all the big ideas and plans. I think we were down in Miami talking about that. Yeah. For that Eagles game. Sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure Ryan is super disappointed too for how close you guys are. But COVID, and refocusing and doing what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, door's not shut. I can always go back to college coaching. I do enjoy it, and who knows? Like I said, I think my biggest motto is like I don't know. I do know where I want to end up, but I don't know how I'm going to get there most of the time. It may not be a straight shot, so I'm never closing that door. I'm always going to do what I can, best ability, and if some doors open up, and it is what it is. So I can't say to somebody that I'm not going to go back to this, or I'm not going to go back to that. And they're always open. They're all possibilities.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to be is always keep it open, right? Be ready for that opportunity. Just to go back to your credentials more so, with your business, you're a regional level 3 biomechanics pitching coach from the National Pitching Association.
Yep.
And also nationally certified rotational hitting coach. If people aren't aware of your facility, biomechanical mechanics specialist as you are is really the quality of movement, correct? Is just trying to make it best for each participant or each person that you're teaching. Yeah,
I mean, whether it's a golf, baseball, pitching, or hitting, you do what you do because your capacity of the movement. The reason that people are doing golf swings or hitting mechanics or pitching mechanics is because your body, you can only move a certain way that your body allows you. I have, for example, for my baseball swing, my golf swing, when I get my 3D analysis done, it's quite different. I'm a very hip-driven type of person. It's because my upper back is so tight. I can't rotate as well as I should. So I don't utilize a lot of rotational power from my thoracic spine. I use a lot of more rotation power from my hip and my back foot drive. So that's how I gained distance. But imagine if I was able to work on my upper back mobility, I can actually utilize the sequence much better and become a better golfer and hitter. But you can only know that by assessing it and seeing it, so that everybody's different. I mean, that's, like I said, that's why people do pitch differently and swing differently.
Yeah.
Because of move.
And that's all part of the sports performance training that's science-based, right? I mean, it's the science-based protocols. You know, I want you to talk a little bit about some of the technology, the equipment, trainers, why your facility and what you do, why is it different than other places?
Sure. I think a lot of people kind of struggle with this idea where, you know, back in the days, we didn't have to do any of this stuff and we got our job done. So you kind of argue with the old school and new school. In a new school, everything is like data quantified, and you got specialists for just about every section in the sports, you know, whether it's football, baseball, golf, whatnot. And we didn't have that luxury back then. And I'm not saying one's better or the other. The difference is now things are measurable that we couldn't do before. So it's available to us. So because of that, we're using it. You know, why not use the products and science that's available to us so we can actually get a, not necessarily maybe a better result, but maybe a quicker result. You know, if I'd have known that I'm not turning my upper back on my swing, I'm more my hip drive guy, I do know now that I got to work on that and I can enhance my swing a lot better, which I couldn't have known that 25, 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot more advantage to become a better player in that regards. So yeah, we utilize a lot of sensor system for hitting and drills, things like that, to see identify your sequence in hitting. Actually, pitching is coming out. Nobody has this in the country right now through the product that we use called the KVAS. So pitching is coming. Being a master himself, he said, you know what, Nick, punch is still just a punch and kick is just a kick. And that really hit me hard because when I was young in this career, I try to get every alphabet after my name, like you name it. I had every certification. And yeah, sure, I still do. But that was like my main focus. And I would spend $20,000, $30,000 a year in trying to get extra certificate, you know, extra licensing and whatnot. And I realized like years later, you know what? This is really important. Like you should know as a professional, you should always evolve and train yourself and educate yourself. But still, punch is just a punch and kick is a kick at the end. So I take that approach to teaching baseball or physical training with our athletes and our clients. Sure, I'll give them the ideas and data and all this stuff. But at the end, it's all about how you mix it all together and you just got to go compete. So I think that finding the balance is truly important rather than just trying to gather data only, you know?
Yeah.
And like that's why guys like, you know, Belichick and all these guys are so great. I'm sure they can balance those things really well.
Yeah. No, well said, man. So where do you think you're going to be heading in the next 5 years? Where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years?
Wow. Man, I love and hate this kind of question, you know? You know, I do prepare for the future, right? But I do like stay in the moment a lot. That's why I lose track of times a lot, you know, like I dive in long hours and stuff because I get so present to the person that's in front of me, and I lose sense of track of time, you know, like, so for the 5 years, man, I see my kids growing, you know, now they're 7, 6, and 3. I want to be the next Tiger Woods as a dad right now. Like I want to caddy for my own kids.
Love it.
I didn't have a luxury of growing up with my parents around too much because they work so hard and show me the work ethic that I have now is pretty much from them, you know, watching them and stuff. But I don't know if I want to be the same parent as they were. And I'm not saying they did something wrong. It's just that I know back of their heads, I knew they probably wanted to spend more time with me, but they knew they had to provide. So I feel like I'm doing that now to like save some, you know, whether it's money or whatever I need to do. But I think I'm going to do that, you know, like I'm going to somehow change my schedule and business where it's not about my fame about being the best hitting coach or the pitching coach or the golf instructor or whatever it might be. Like, sure, that was my aspiration. I'm doing that now. But I'm starting to realize those aren't as important as I thought they were. You know, like being in the best in the industry isn't as important as I think it was. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to like short side myself and stop learning and stop teaching. No, I'm going to do that. But somehow I'm going to find a balance. I'm really going to practice some golf this year somehow, half hour a day. And then hopefully if I'm going to get my kids to be interested. I think they are, because they start to like do little things about golf. So
yeah,
I think I'm going to be too tough on baseball. So I'm going to change the gear, maybe give them some golf opportunity, and then hopefully I can carry their bags. How about that? In 5 years, maybe I can go some junior tournaments and or in the worst case, I'll watch them play baseball in the worst case, which I don't want to do. I hope that's not, but I think I'm going to do that. So my focus in 5 years is going to be, I think, more in lines with my own personal kids.
Okay.
Because I work with kids a lot, and sure, I help them, from like 10 years old. Now they're going to colleges, and, I've done that a lot, and it's a big cycle. And I get such a great joy out of helping kids to get into college and going to the next level. It's a great cycle. But at the end of the day, they're not my kids. But
Yeah.
they do kind of leave me in a way. So I want to like focus on my kids somehow a little bit more. And I haven't been doing a great job on that, I don't think, as a father. So slowly, I think that's going to be tough, but I think slowly I want to make adjustment. And so you keep me updated. You're going to every year, how's that plan going? Because I need somebody to be accountable to.
I will be your accountability partner, and we all need one or two or three.
Yeah.
No, man, and balance. I mean, that's something that we're all trying to find, man. Balance, between work, fun, family. It's a nonstop, trying to find, what the happy medium is. So I'm with you there, man.
Yeah. But I want a caddy, so that's for real. I'm a teacher, and like I love that part of golf, like that whole the mental side of golf and stuff.
Yeah.
So I actually really like caddying for somebody, believe it or not. So even if it's not my kids, like I want to get into that field somehow. And I'm not kidding you. I already like check things out.
Okay.
Like gonna apply for some jobs. Later I kind of figure out which location that I want to do this in like 5-6 years. So if it's not gonna be my kids, I want to do that for real.
Okay, or you could just help me with my golf swing. That would be good too.
All right.
I need big time help, man, with that baseball swing. It hurts mentally.
Yeah.
What would your message be to any kid or person trying to find something that they're passionate about?
Oh, wow. I think this is like a perfect time, especially nowadays too. A lot of kids going to college and not knowing what they want to study.
Yeah.
They're just, and things like that. It's like really teaching us how, you got to be passionate. And it's such an easy phrase and easy light words to just throw around. But, it's something, a lot of these young kids, and obviously I didn't know when I was at their age either. But I tell them all the time, like, listen, like life is like a game in a way. Like you either play in it or you don't play in it. So when you're young, like try to get involved and play in it. You might not win that game or two, but at least you're in the game. Like don't get outside the game and just kind of watch the game go by and you lose that opportunity to play. Like whether you decide to go to college or not, I mean, you have to, even you don't know your direction, like go at it. Don't just take minimum credits, take the maximum credits. Take the extra internship, take the, otherwise how are you going to know? You're not going to know. Like I changed my major like junior year. I was a math major for 3.5 years. I'm an idiot changing, who changed their major after 3 years of all the course that you take? I literally, my senior year, I remember I was taking 21 credits, maximum credits I could every semester while I was playing baseball, just because I kind of wanted to know what I wanted to do. So I'll be honest with you, 3 of my kids, like if one of them or two of them, all of them don't want to go to school, I'm okay. As
Uh-huh.
long as you have a plan, like you tell me what your plan is, and I support you no matter what, you know. So a lot of young kids that I want to give them advice maybe is like, hey, just stay in the game, whatever it is, like just play it,
Yeah.
play with best ability. And maybe the game will be different each time, but at least you're in the game instead of
Yeah.
just waiting.
No, I love that. And I think something that kids and many people I think need to understand, and I'm still learning because I'm definitely not patient, but it's really patience. And I think kids realize think that they need to find it, right away. Just be patient because you have time. But this podcast is about, making the right decisions. Like college, don't go to college just to go. I don't, it pains me so much to see people go just to go. And then when they're done, they don't know what they want to do. And, is the return on investment, is it worth it? You're just going to college because everyone else does. I just want to see people take a more strategic approach, and have a plan and really be passionate about which direction they're going. And sometimes that'll take time. You're not going to figure that out, right away. And I think some kids shouldn't go to college, right out of high school, I think patience is a big one because, you have a lot of time to figure it out.
Yeah, and then at the same time, I think that's a perfect scenario you brought up. But a lot of kids think that they should know, and
Yeah.
that's like not everybody knows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once they lose that mindset of where I should know, but what you should do is do your best at whatever you do. Whether you're cleaning up a desk or
Yeah.
somebody's plate, or you're
Yeah.
cleaning something, or you're working at anything you do, you got to do your best.
Yeah.
I am not going to tell somebody to be patient if they're going to sit on their butt and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I
No,
want them
understood.
to
Yeah.
do something. But at the same time, don't just apply to schools and go to school without like going full force.
Mm-hmm.
Your plan can change. I'm not saying you have to know your plan, you have to know what you're doing. But if you decide to do it, that's your decision you made, then you got to go at it like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then if you don't like it, take a break. Like I had two really good trainers here last year, a year and a half ago. Really good trainers. And they could probably made a killing in this business. And they were doing really, really well. And I had a one-on-one conversation with both of them, and I sent them away. One's in California now, one's in Arizona. I don't know if they're going to ever hear about this, but I still keep in touch with one of them. One of them I haven't talked in a while, but I told them, hey, this job is always going to be here for you. But what I do know is you're in young 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to get out and see the world. Just go.
Yeah.
It could be 6 months. It could be a year. Just save some money and let's go. I gave them connections from people that I knew. As an owner, I could selfishly kept them and say like, hey, you're doing a great job. You're going to be great in this business. And I do that. But I knew that wasn't the best decision for them, because losing 6 months, 12 months is nothing for them. So I told them to go, just go. I'll give you jobs that you can have. It's not about the job. I just need you to find out like what you're made about, and find out also if this is a right career path, and also, how you handle life and experience different, So, one's been out in California for almost a year and a half now. He's absolutely loving it. He's killing it out there. So, and he thanks me like just every week and say, hey, if it wasn't that help that you allowed me to go,
Yes.
I don't think I'll know what I need to do. And I'm sure the other one's doing the same. Actually, another one's outside the country. She's in Costa Rica, and she's building an awesome business right now. She's been there for like 8 years, 9 years now, I think.
Oh, wow.
She started a family there. She was going to get married here, settle down, and get into this business. And she ended up moving there and doing really well professionally. We catch up here and now and then, and she's doing amazing right now. So.
No, awesome. And that's great advice. I think kids should get out there and experience the world, the country, and just kind of figure themselves out. I mean, you touched on it. It's mindset, it's attitude, it's many things. If you're going to succeed. No, very good advice. Very good advice. Do you want to give your contact information for your business and what social media and platforms that you're active on?
Sure. Our business one is Athletic Republic Escape. If you just search for Athletic Republic Escape, it will come up, with Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere. We're located in Mount Laurel, just right on 38 off 295. You can always text us to schedule 856-581-9120. It's easy to find us.
Okay, great, man. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate you being on. Finally got this scheduled and got this done. It was a great one, and I appreciate you sharing the many stories.
No, I really appreciate you being professional and patient. That was awesome. You're always persistent, trying to make this work. And I'm apologetic at the same time. They took it long, but I thank you for your patience always. You're awesome, and this is pretty cool. Actually, you're doing this. I actually read up on some of your other podcasts, and so it was really cool.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a passion project. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And again, I appreciate you're one of the guests.
Yeah.
Thanks again, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.